Athletes Nate Mason and Jordan Murphy. And I'll remind you to please raise your hand, wait for the microphone, and if you can give your affiliation, please. Questions?
Nate, Corey Curtis, I'm with ABC in Nashville, Tennessee. Just wanted to ask you, going into the tournament, normally it would be a team like Middle Tennessee that people would be talking about looking over. Do you guys feel looked over with all the Blue Raider talk this week nationally?
We're really not paying no attention to it. We know Middle Tennessee is a great team. We got to be prepared to play.
For both of you guys, who does Middle Tennessee remind you of that you played this season?
I don't think they're like any team we've played this season, to be honest. They're a really unique team, have a unique defense, and really unique players. So, I mean, they're in a kind of a category of their own, to say.
Yeah, going off what Murph said, they got great players, so they play a weird defense. So we got to be prepared to attack it on all terms.
Thank you. Marty Terrell from Sirius XM 93. Nate, this team obviously pulled off a huge upset a year ago. Big Ten style of play against their style of play, and what have you seen on film that might concern you?
They're a great offensive rebounding team, but we're a great defensive rebounding team. So we got to come out and force our will and impose toughness right from the get-go.
Nancy Armour, USA Today. This is for either of you guys. When you guys were going through that rough stretch during the middle of the season, what did you do differently to turn it around? And can you kind of describe what it was like being in that locker room then compared to now?
I think we just had to lock back in mentality-wise and just realize that we have to get tougher, we have to get better and get back in practice and work even harder than we were to get back to what we were doing in the regular season. During that 5-game skid, I mean, between then and now, I think the locker room's a lot more optimistic. We're really positive. Guys have a lot of energy. We're really happy, too. So, I mean, I think we have a good confidence level right now. We're trying to keep that going.
Anything else for the student athletes? Yes.
Yeah, just one more quick. Nate again, Marty Terrell from Sirius XM. Your fan base, obviously you can drive here, travel, can turn this building into a quasi-home court, yet Middle Tennessee fits that description of a team that if they've got a Big Ten team like you guys down, the building can turn. Do you think about that at all, on how this is kind of a double-edged sword, that this building could be a very good venue, yet can turn on you if you're caught in the crossfire of an upset?
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely encouraging all our fans to come out. I think we sold out of all our tickets, so it should be a pretty fun place to play. Hopefully all our fans made the drive down, and without them this year we wouldn't be where we are now, so they play a big part.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Good luck tomorrow. Please welcome Minnesota head coach Richard Pitino. Questions, please.
Coach, just to start, we were talking with Kermit earlier. He told a story about going to the Kentucky Derby with your dad. Were you there at all for that?
I was not. Sorry. Nice try. Yeah, would have. Make it up. You always do.
Coach, congratulations on your season. Corey Curtis from the ABC in Nashville. Kermit said earlier to me that you are loving all of the attention that Middle Tennessee is getting right now. Are you, in fact, loving it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's funny. I don't need to be told to respect Middle Tennessee, you know, probably because I was in their league and I know how good of a coach he is. And I know how hard his players play and how good of a job he does recruiting and getting his players better. So I didn't need that, you know, but with your players, you never know. But, you know, I will say this. I don't think too many teams overlook guys in the NCAA tournament. You know, so we're excited about being the underdog. Been the underdog all year. You know, so it'll be another great opportunity. But I think Kermit is a terrific coach. I kind of always, whenever people talk about coaches that people may not talk about, he's the first one on my list every single time. So I got a bunch of respect for him and their team.
Coach, congratulations on a great year.
Thank you.
Is this another typical matchup where the 12-5 just truly does not matter? I want to bring up Vegas point spreads, and then do you keep your kids away from that 12-5 garbage?
We definitely don't talk point spreads with them. Yeah, we don't. I don't. 12-5 seeds. I don't think any of it really matters. You know, maybe the 1 seed may have a moderately easy game. You know, I think Middle Tennessee might be ranked. You know, so our guys know how good they are. You know, they've got some players that were on last year's team who not only beat Michigan State but won a lot of games. You know, so I've got a bunch of respect for them. I think our players, when they watch the film, know it's a terrific team. You know, I mean, they're not, in my opinion, a mid-major team. They're a high-level team. You know, so we know we got to play our best game to beat them, and we're excited about that challenge.
Hi, Richard. Tom Silverstein from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. I know when you got there, Wisconsin had already built sort of a pipeline into Minnesota for some of the talent and still gets a few guys out of there. But what do you think this year can be for you in terms of that recruiting Minnesota? And also, how hard has that been to build a wall, you know, around the state?
Well, you know, our state is unique because, you know, obviously we're the only Division I school in the state, you know, for basketball. You know, but we get a lot of people from other states who work there just because Twin Cities has a lot of great jobs. You know, so other schools have been able to come in and recruit the state. You know, when it comes to us and recruiting the state, we've gotten the guys for the most part that we've wanted. I mean, we haven't gotten everybody, but you're not always going to need everybody. You know, you only get a certain number of scholarships. But the guys that we've targeted since we've been here, we've been pretty successful. You know, Jarvis Johnson was a guy who hasn't played for us, but he was a very good recruit for us. Amir Coffey was another guy that we really locked in on wanted. So, you know, we've done a good job recruiting the state, but when you're successful, you know, there's two things. Success and commitment are what are going to help you with in-state recruits. Well, now that we're committing to the facilities part of it, that's going to really help. And then obviously our team being successful, Amir being successful, Reggie Lynch being successful, guys that are from the state that are playing well, that also really helps in recruiting. What will you do tonight, Richard? Mike just likes to shout out. It's okay. Tonight we will stay in the hotel, watch what we normally do. No different routine than anything else. We will watch film after dinner, go over the scouting report, and then go to bed. So nothing abnormal than any other game.
Nancy Armour with USA Today. Richard, what was it like when you guys went through that slump in the middle of the season, and what was it like for you as a coach, and what did you tell your players, or how did you get them back on track?
Well, losing 5 games in a row, After last year, that was nothing, so I can handle that one. We went 2 months without a win last year, so I think last year definitely equipped us for this year, because we had lost a bunch of close games last year. And I think with Nate Mason, Dupree, McBrayer, Jordan Murphy, they were on the court for a lot of those games last year. So as hard as last year was, it helped us. And, when it came down to that losing streak, there was really only one game where I thought we didn't play well, and that was at Michigan State. The rest of them, that we had opportunities to win. So I think last year helped everybody stay pretty composed and poised and believing that we could go on a run. Fortunately, we went on a big run. I'm not sure I anticipated an 8-game winning streak, but I did think we'd break through because I thought we were playing pretty good basketball. So the guys were very, very mature about it and level-headed about it.
Yeah, hi, Coach. Steve Leventhal, SRN Broadcasting. I was just wondering if you would speak sort of more broad brushstrokes of the Big Ten, what it's meant this year. There's a couple of Cinderella stories with Michigan and Northwestern, and even, some of your success of, how that feels as a member of the Big Ten Conference.
Well, there's been a lot of talk that our conference is down, and I think a lot of that has to do with we may not have a lot of teams in the top 5 or top 10, but there's no easy outs. I wouldn't want to play a Wisconsin who's an 8 seed. I wouldn't want to play a Maryland, a Michigan who's a 7, a Michigan State. Those are all tough outs. To go along with us. Purdue obviously is terrific. Northwestern's terrific. So, our conference is full of great coaches, really smart players who know the game, don't beat themselves, and talented players. So I think if we're not the best conference, we're one of the best. And I think it shows when you get 7 teams in the tournament.
Coach, again, Marty Terrell from Sirius XM 93. Let's talk to Nate and Jordan, and we brought up the scenario where you've got a nice fan following, yet this building will turn on a dime if Middle Tennessee starts to beat you and take over a Big Ten team. You referenced this as just being just any other game, but you know that as well as anyone. If this building turns, how are you prepared to have your kids handle that?
Well, I expect a pretty good Gopher crowd. So again, from everything that we've heard and read, I think everybody's expecting Middle to win. And I think Middle's really good. And again, I've known Kermit for a long time. Kermit's one of the best coaches in the country. So I don't look at it like that. And I don't think our team looks at it like that. We know it's going to be a hard-fought game. And if we do win, we beat a really, really good team.
Coach, how impressed are you with Akeem Springs and how he's handled the injury? He's in there smiling, laughing, leading. You can tell he still feels he has a pretty big role in this team.
Very impressed. He got hurt. It was kind of weird because he got hurt, and then a media timeout happened right away. So I didn't really notice it because we went right into the timeout. And then all of a sudden, I say, "Where's Akeem?" And they say he's back with Ben Fells, our trainer. And then he comes back out, and he's on crutches. He knows he's done for the rest of the season. And I said, "You all right?" And he looked at me and said, "I'm fine, Coach. Let's go win this game." And then after the game, we won, beat Michigan State. He was, "Let's go get a ring. Don't worry about me." So the way that he handled that, I think, is one of the reasons why everybody's been kind of able to move on the right way. And we battled, obviously, versus Michigan. So he's been really, really mature about it. His family's been great about it. And it's no surprise the way he's handled it.
Richard, this is your first time to the tournament as a head coach, but obviously you've been around it quite a bit. What lessons did you take from your dad or Billy, and how do you think that's going to help you your first time as a head coach here?
I think more than anything, appreciate it, embrace it. It's an awesome opportunity, but don't make it bigger than it really needs to be. The game is really what matters. And obviously, it's my job to prepare these guys to the best of their ability to go play their best game. So every tournament I've been around my dad, Billy, they get looser as the tournament gets closer. So for me, it's probably just making sure my players know that I'm confident in the game plan, excited about the opportunity, making sure they're loose, but also understand that they got to execute, and play freely, and just don't be a whole lot different than we've been. And we've been, when you play in the Big Ten, you're playing, it's different than the tournament, obviously, but you're playing in high-stake games. So I think we'll be prepared for that moment.
Coach, you've been a team of runs at times this year. Is there an element of your game that's particularly good that keys those?
Well, I would hope it's our defense. I think we got a pretty good defense, pretty solid defense at times. So we talk a lot about defense and rebounding. In our league, if you don't do that, you got no shot. So if we do that, we're able to get out on the break. I think we can be effective. So it all stems around our defense.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks.